People always ask how I balance my family life with 400 shows a year. I'm just doing what I love with the people I love. It's my magic life.
I like Wes Iseli. I like everything about him.
All right, guys. We are back. We have a legend in show business today. I have to call this guy a friend, even though we've never met in person. I have followed Eric's journey for a long time. You may have seen him on Foolish. You may have seen him on MTV or his own television show. Everybody, it's Eric Leclerc. What's up, buddy? How are you?
What's up? Hi, guys.
Dude, I told Natalie you're high energy, and I don't know what to expect. I got an energy drink right here. We're ready to rock and roll. So I don't even know where to start. I found you on YouTube. I think it was iTricks way back in the day.
Wow.
And this guy is doing a 365 day of magic. I'm like, what is this? But it was so wild and crazy, and the stuff you were doing was, some stuff was amazing, some stuff was just off your shelf. And it, as a producer, as somebody that's in the business, I could tell which days you were just, I got to film something today, let's do it. And then other ones had a lot of production in it, and you never knew. And
yeah,
I'm all about honesty, dude. It was easy. There were 5 minutes, 365 days. I poop every day. It was my login when I was on the toilet.
You know, so many people tell me that they watched it every day on the toilet. Yeah, I guess that's, you know, that's was the most popular place where people just kind of had 5 minutes to kill, and they watch it on the can. I love it. At least you watched it.
There you go. There you go, dude. I was a fan. So how long ago was that?
That was in 2011.
So that was the year Lana was born. That was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Golly.
Wild.
And look where your career is going now. It's just skyrocketed.
Yeah, super lucky. The only thing that was unlucky about that is I was probably like 3 or 4 years ahead of my time. If I would have done that 3 years later, YouTube was like just starting to, like, you know, get their algorithm and get their paying structure and creator YouTube studio kind of up and running. I would have, you know, I would have blown up way bigger and made way more money. But I'm glad to kind of be a pioneer in the kind of vlog days. Never pre-recorded a video. I every day shot one, never pre-recorded, but by day 40, I always tell people by day 45, I had like enough. I was done. And I was like, you know, I told people, if people are watching, I told people I'm going to do this. And I just, you know, grit my teeth and did it.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I want to tune back. We just got off of crazy busy. Our summer is our busiest time of year, right?
Oh yeah.
We just now, I mean, we got Cancun in our sights. We got Cancun next week. We have a Magic convention next week. Week after is Cancun. Mm-hmm. So it's just like trying to catch up. But I want to go back and watch some of these because there are some real gems in that. I mean, I'm not saying just a few. There's a lot of gems in there, but you got to look through them. Yeah. Man, so
you know, I've never rewatched them. You know, there's maybe like a dozen or so that got really popular that people send me all the time. But recently, my niece who's now 20 years old. I'm gonna try and find this. She sent me this clip of her, because every time after the credits rolled, I did like a little, that was my favorite part of the show, was a little non-sequential whatever, just like you know, the stupid little joke that kind of went anywhere. It wasn't like there was no theme or anything. And she sent me, and so they're hard to find. Like there's no way you could find, you know, like there were like whether it was a prank or like a little silly thing. They were hard to find. So she sent me something recently. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Yeah, I don't know. And it was her just reciting the Leclerc show. I'm gonna have to find. I'll ask her to send it to me. I'll
ask. Was it her sending you out the Leclerc show?
Oh,
I remember.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's her, and she's having trouble. I think I have it here. She's having trouble like saying it. Yeah, no, I can't find it. It's gone. It's gone. Oh no, here it is. I got it. I'm just gonna flip. Hold on.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Leclerc
So that's her then, and this is her. Oh, she has no pictures. They don't have pictures on the new kid. This is her now.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
just wild. I don't have any kids to like have a timestamp on that, thank God. But yeah, she sent me those. Like, I get people sending me these little clips. That's a lot of content. Like 365 videos. That's 365 tricks plus 365 little kind of pranks or gags at the end. And I like when people send me those, it really kind of brings me back. It brings me back to a whirlwind of emotion and memories. It's crazy.
Do you don't still live in the same place, do you?
Don't live in the same place. No. That was I moved out about 8 years ago, and now much nicer. I built this house. I have like secret passages and hidden rooms in the house. I built it from scratch, so I'm lucky to have been able to do that with the Leclerc show. That YouTube project really launched, but really opened a lot of doors. Like people like Brain Games on National Geographic Channel. They found a trick where, like an interactive card trick, where I'm like, memorize a card, and they're like, does that work every time? And I lied, and I'm like, yeah, of course. So they like flew me down to New York. That was the first time I got a taste of like a big television production. But yeah, it really opened the doors to a lot of things, and like I said earlier, by day 45, I had enough. I'm glad I stuck with it, and I did it. But yeah, it was definitely a milestone in my career for sure.
Wow. So how many from Brain? Or were you one of the main people there, or did you just do certain spots? I can't remember.
Yeah, I replaced Apollo Robbins, which is one of my idols. I couldn't believe it. He stopped because he was putting his A material out there for people. He was like, he didn't want to do anything that he wasn't perfected, or it wasn't polished. So he's putting all his like the coin on the shoulder and all the stuff. And because it was seen by so many people, like people were starting to catch him in his walk around set or whatever. People were like, preemptively like catching the coin and whatever. So he decided to kind of stop and step back, and they found me through this YouTube channel, Leclerc Show. And I think I did like 13 episodes. So I like to say I was kind of like the house magician. But it was great. It was really amazing working for them. I really got a taste of like I said, what a big television production was like, and I got addicted.
Well, I tell you what, dude, it's a weird thing. I feel like I know you because I was with you for a year, dude. I mean, I was with you for a year.
Yeah.
And I mean, so you had a friend that played the guitar, and you guys would go on. He would help you set up shows. And are you still in contact with that dude?
I saw him last night, actually. We went to dinner for his house with my girlfriend and his girlfriend, kind of a little dinner date. Didn't want to. I'm like, Eric, play Jasmine, my girlfriend, play her an original, and he didn't want to. But it's funny you mentioned that you see the Everyday Life, because this week I actually saw Julie, which was my girlfriend during the YouTube series. And in the month of April, we broke up, and she just left, and I didn't address it. So for 4 months, people saw and she lived with me too. So people saw like Everyday Life with like, a magician, girlfriend living together, and she was in videos. I was pranking her and scaring her, and we were filming together. And then one day she just like picked up and left. And I didn't address it. I don't know why. I guess I was heartbroken. I was like, I don't know. I didn't know how to, because people were watching, and I knew they were going to ask, and I just didn't. By like, it was the month of April, and then by like June, people were like, hey, where's Julie? Where's Julie? And I just never addressed it. And I was kind of like leaving little Easter eggs for her because I knew she was still watching, right? But I saw her for the first time ever 2 days ago at Starbucks here in my hometown. Yeah. And I didn't say hi because I was, I don't know, it was weird. I was with my new girlfriend. I didn't want to do it. But yeah, I saw her for the first time in like 12, 13 years.
Wow. So we were talking beforehand, and you were doing English to French. I'm from rural Virginia, man. I can't even say the word rural. I can't even say that word. So switching back and forth, it's like it's amazing. She speaks French fluently.
Un peu?
No.
Oui.
Yeah. I took it in high school and a little bit in college, so
Tu peux comprendre.
That's where the bathroom is. I can push for sure.
But was that Janice's problem? Was she trying to Americanize your name? Was that a problem?
Yeah, and Leclerc isn't very easy to say. My name is Leclerc, Eric Leclerc, and in English it's Eric Leclerc, and it's already like a tongue twister as it is. But where we are in Ontario, I live in Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada, and we're right on the border of Quebec, which is also a province in Canada. So we're very like we speak Franglish. We just mix everything together to a big melting pot of of confusion, really. So in my everyday life, we do constantly switch English and French, and not even like in the same phrase. We'll like mash up words together. So that's why she was having trouble saying, first of all, speaking in English, her being from Quebec, but then saying Leclerc, which is not how you pronounce the name in French. So yeah, what a cute video.
Well, you were doing like school shows or house parties, and you were doing back and forth during the show. I remember watching your 365 thing.
Right. Yeah. The school shows, I don't do the French English. Don't do the English anymore. I do just French. Because as I grew older, like, you know, speaking French isn't cool here. You know, we're losing our cultural identity, and people are like, it has to be French. And when I went to go to in the schools, I was just starting touring, and I would still say words like whatever, as if, you know, cool or whatever. And we weren't allowed to speak English in schools. Nowadays, my French is like not impeccable, but I make a big effort just to speak French in the schools, because the people, you know, having me come back every year, they're the ones who, you know, book the contracts. And I learned, I was banned from a couple schools for like, just like, I was just trying to connect with the kids, and they all speak, you know, a little bit of English. So, but I still do those tours. Those are my definitely bread and bread. I just booked like 100 shows. I'm doing 40 of them in October, and then 60 in March and April, but it's still the same French schools here in Ontario.
Wow,
nice.
That's great,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
You guys do schools as well.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't do a tour like that though.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
You do one
So
off.
do you book? Do you book your own, or do you have agency working for you?
Yeah, I have people, but I'm so lucky. Like about I'll say like 10 years ago, my magician friend, who's very business oriented, he had his own production company, and we were working in the same city, and approached me, and he's like, hey, like, we'd like to produce you. Like, have you ever thought about? And for me, back in the day, like, school shows were like, they were, you know, $300 or $400 or whatever. He's like, no, you can make like a lot more, like thousands. And I'm like, thousands? How? And he showed me how. And we hear, because we have we have our cultural identity, like I said, which is dying. The government sponsors half the show to have fun, cool, interesting activities in the school. So the school pays, you know, a fee, and then the government like matches it. So what I do is every 2 years we do a showcase here in my city, and because Ontario is like the biggest province, and because we're in the capital, it's always here, which is just lucky. And then we have like these buyers, these 500 people in the crowd, and they're all responsible for like school boards. They're all responsible for like 10 or 15 schools each. So every 2 years, I do a new 20 minutes in front of these people with a show that, you know, educational. I always like have the educational spin. And I've been lucky enough to like do hundreds of these shows every year. We do it every other year. So it's not every year, it's every second year. But like 1 year of doing these, you know, 100, 150 shows, like you're good for, you know, like that year. So very lucky, very fortunate. That man changed my life. And I'm still to this day giving them 20%, because even though I could just do it on my own, he really saw something in me in the show, and like he changed my life. I built this house because of him, you know. Daniel Coutu, shout out.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome.
Yeah,
well, a lot of people don't. That's how Doug Henning got his start. I mean, the Canadian government gave him grant money to put that show together originally.
Whoa, that's wild.
Yeah. You knew that, didn't you?
I did not know that. I heard something like that, but now you're reminding me. I wonder what the grant was for.
The arts.
Art, yeah, just an arts grant.
Arts grant, as far as I know. Yeah.
Wow, for one thing that the Canadian government's doing right is art.
Hey, hey. So here's another thing. Natalie, I showed her some of the videos. She didn't see all of them. I was busy at the time I was watching them, so I couldn't take the phone right to her, right? So another thing at the end, and maybe it was the breakup. Maybe it was the breakup that did it. But you got shredded towards the end. You got on P90, and was that the breakup? Because you got shredded.
Well, I mean, I think that's a universal fact that when somebody gets they break up or whatever, you get in shape. I think that's probably the year after. I definitely did not have time to do it during. Maybe I don't know. Maybe towards the end, but the year after, I really gave it. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe it was during. But yes, I did get, because I definitely would have made it a video. It wasn't if it was like afterwards, the like transformation video. But listen, I'm still at it. I'm still I just stopped doing P90X and went to like a real gym for the first time, and like in my workout career, I guess. But yeah, I discovered, working out and fitness and eating well, and it really changed me. So thanks, Julie. Thanks for leaving, Julie.
Dude, it was a transformation video, dude. Look at that. Yeah, man. Yeah. Flex.
You know what? Here's a fun fact about that. I have a fun fact about that video is the whole thing was filmed in one day. That's a secret. Nobody knows. I had my transformation pictures, because when you start doing P90X, which is a home workout, 45 an hour a day, they say first things first, you take off your shirt and take a picture right now, and you don't want to do it, you don't look great. But every week, every 2 weeks, they say take a picture. So I had the before and after pictures, but the videos of me working out, I was just wearing a hoodie. I was already in shape, but the actual workout, the gym, where it was all kind of set up. But I had the pictures to kind of build up the video to make it look. But yeah, I've never told anybody that. It's an exclusive, guys.
All right. Get exclusive content. Get out of your 3 hours ago, dude. I haven't had a conversation with you. I mean, we talk a little bit, but nothing like that. Chair test. I didn't even know a chair test existed until I saw you do it. And then I took the idea and I was like, I like that. And we put a chair test in our show, but I don't think it was just the idea of a chair test. I didn't know it existed. And that's where I came up with the idea for the chair test at. Oh, but we did a 2-person routine type thing. But
you mean the chair test when everybody kind of lays back on each other?
Nope. It was a chair test where the prediction, whatever chair they were setting in, you had to predict that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think I did it. I think it was like a motivation. I was doing like a motivational talk or something, or maybe I had a high. I don't remember. But yeah, chair tests are for Darren Brown is a really, really good one. But would you guys still use it to this day? Yeah.
Yeah. The thing was, like, we thought, like, all right, so our theater shows will be easy. We don't have to carry 5 chairs with us. It'll be easy. But there were some venues, there just were no chairs. And I'm like, I don't want to buy 5 chairs. It's not a trick for that. And if I can't take it with me everywhere, we just did it in our big theater shows for a while until you inspired me, man.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm glad I could inspire you.
Your Mr. E character, you still do that?
No, right now, that was like for my English. Wow, you're really.
Dude, I remember. I haven't even watched these. This is all from memory. Yeah.
No, Mr. E has. Mr. E is when I do like festivals. But no, nowadays I just do Mystérique, which is French. Mystérique. No, Mr. E's has definitely been retired. I just wear the M now for Mystérique. Yeah, no, I haven't seen Mr. E in years.
Okay, all right, because what is it? Scooby-Doo. That's what I thought of. I thought of Scooby-Doo with Mr. E. I didn't even put together your name is Eric. It makes sense. I was the mystery. I was just taking it that way.
Right. Yeah, that was a little play on words. That's what we were going for.
Loved it. So what is your MTV credit? I don't know you from MTV.
Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one. MTV credit was because of the Leclerc show. And it was every Tuesday I went to play poker with the boys at a high stakes. It wasn't, it's like 1-2, but for me it was high stakes. It was like a few $100s, you know. And we made a guy. We had a guy there who's really he's really far out. He's really believes in, you know, I don't know, whatever. And he was late that day. And sure enough, I didn't know what I was going to do for my daily video. And I said, let's prank this guy. I said, do you remember the poker chip? So we took a poker chip, and I say, before we got there, I'm like, I'm going to pretend to make this disappear. When I raise my hand, and you guys act like it's gone. And when I put it back, you act like it's back. And the camera will be on him being like, what the hell's going on here, right? So we did it. And he was like, what do you mean? It's right there, man. But the guys are freaking out. Oh my God, this is crazy. And like, I make it come back, and he said, guys, like, I know, Eric, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to doubt your skills, but like the poker chip is right there. He's like, am I the devil? Am I the, so that was the meat of that video. It was like a prank on a poker player, and MTV bought the clip for it was a show called World's Dumbest. And it took me a lot of convincing. I split. I think it was like they paid us like $500, and I had to split it with him because the show's called World Dumbest, and he's, you know, like people that didn't know I was a magician, like people watching MTV that didn't know I was a magician were like, all right, this guy's an idiot. Obviously, the poker chip's not gone, but because I had a cred for being a good magician, that really elevated the prank for this poor guy. So that clip aired a lot. Like I got everywhere from around the world. People from around the world were like sending me screen pictures of their television with this poor guy. Always asked me, was he in on it? Was he in on it? And he wasn't. And it was real. He was really contemplating his life.
Wow, that's awesome.
Guy. Sorry, his name was Eric. Sorry, Eric. Love you, buddy.
So what is let's go back to the beginning, man. What was your start now? How did you get started?
Little magic kit, like everybody, you know, under the Christmas tree. But I was fortunate enough to get a really good one. And it was, I don't think it was a like a huge commercial from China just designed to pump out money. I think it was like a local-ish one. And the instructions were amazing. And the instructions were like, you're going to want to show everybody, you know, all the tricks right away. You're going to resist this urge. We recommend you pick one you like, go to your room in front of the mirror and practice it for at least an hour. 2 days is our recommendation, but we know you're not going to do that. It was like written like that. So I was like, oh my God, they're, you know, I was 9 years old, so I could read. And I was like, they knew. It was like the Stop Smoking book. I don't know if you guys are smokers or whatever, but there's this one book. It's called The Easy Way to Stop Smoking by Alan Carr. And the book does that. It's like you read it and it's designed for you to be like, oh, well, you know, to come up with a conclusion, not conclusion, you say, well, nobody would, and then you turn the page and he's like, right now you're probably thinking to yourself this, and you're like, you can read my mind. So that magic, the instructions were like that. So I practiced that trick. There was there was silk and a thumb tip, and I practiced it really good. And that's kind of like, it's not really a beginner trick, right? It's like an intermediate trick. But the instructions were just superb. And I went to do it to my mom, and she was like, how did you do that? And I knew she didn't know. And I was like, am I smarter than my mom? You know, it was the first time she asked me a question for real that she didn't have the answer to. Moms know everything. They know everything about the world. So I was like, I got hooked on the attention it gave me. And then at school, you know, I brought it to school, and people were like, hey, come see. And I was like, wait, I'm the only one who can do this. I'm like, come see what Eric can do. See what Eric can you do another one? Can you show him? Show the other teacher. Show the school principal. And I was like, there's something here. And I got addicted, and I just never looked back. I practiced a whole bunch, and that was my release. I'd go to my room and I just practiced the tricks. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a C student, man. Similar. You do a trick and you can fool your teachers. And it's like they don't know everything. They don't know this. They don't
Yeah.
know. They're dumb. They
Yeah.
don't know this. What the
Yeah.
heck?
Yeah. And I still use, you know, unlike many magicians who believe that the thumb tip is like such common knowledge now that they stay away from it, I still use it all the time. All the time. Sure, it's more like sometimes if you get caught with like a scarf, and then I like to do a bill switch right after and still like fool them with it, right? But yeah, the scarf in the thumb tip for sure is like a, you know, universal kind of. But like new generations come up and new, you know, new kids and new. I find I've had just as much success with that than any other the new thing to come out or whatever. I always trust the classics.
Heck yeah, man. Heck
Yeah.
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 So let's get into some current stuff here.
Yeah.
Tell us about Big Trick Energy.
Big Trick Energy was a show we filmed for True TV and Netflix Canada during the pandemic. It was Chris Ramsey, Wes Barker, Alex Boyer, and I, who were really great friends in real life. And during the pandemic, we were like, let's make a show. And because of Chris's, he has like 7 million followers on YouTube, and that's kind of what was misleading to the broadcasters and the success and the collapse of the show. They were like, this guy has 7 million people following him. Like we're gonna have amazing ratings, and we're gonna have, you know, it's gonna be so good. So, which wasn't the case. These people were, you know, puzzle fans, and they liked him on YouTube solving puzzles, not necessarily doing magic with his best friends. And then filming the show, like we filmed it in Vancouver for 3 months, and it was just the best time. It was just so fun. We were, you know, for 3 months living across the country in hotel rooms, and we were going back to the hotel room every night, like high-fiving and like we were like, man, this is going to be such a cutting edge show, that this is going to be the best thing. Like we were so proud of what we were filming. And then the clips started to come from the edits, and it was like, oh, you could tell that the people were, they knew it was a magic show, because in any other magic show, you can just go and film and then ask for them to sign a release afterwards. That's how everybody does it, right? Except
on Carbon, they had people chase them down right afterwards. I mean, they
exactly.
had
Usually, pretty girls, you know, are very outgoing people. Oh, you did so great. Here, here we can give you $100 for your appearance if you sign right here, whatever. There's like all these little ruses to get people to sign these releases. But for us during COVID, the restrictions were so strict that everybody had to be pre-screened. So, you know, they knew they were going to be on TV, not necessarily a magic show, but like they just knew. And because we're so used to watching real reactions from people, you can tell that these people, they didn't know there was a show, they weren't in on it, but like they were hamming it up. They were actors, right? We would put casting calls out there and for actors, right? And not necessarily to act to our magic, just people who wanted to be on TV. Because during the pandemic, nobody's going to want to go, oh, let me be on this TV show. No, somebody who wants to be an actor who's not working will come, and, you know, for $50 or whatever. So it just didn't look how we wanted. The network really wanted us to have, like, they called it a story arc instead of like just modular. The biggest thing. So the biggest thing was they didn't trust. We had like 75 years combined magic knowledge between the four of us. They had 0, and they went with no. We know our audience. We know what's gonna work. And halfway through, we were like, man, this is gonna be. Here's the perfect example. So let's say we do a trick in a tattoo shop, okay? And it's a great. I still have the tattoo on my butt. It's one of my favorite trick of the whole show. So we would trick a tattoo artist. We would go in it and it'd say, name any object. He named a pizza. And I'm like, I did color match, basically. Name, what color should we do the pepperoni? What color should we do the crust? What color should we do? So it was like purple crust, red cheese, and whatever. And then I have that tattoo, real tattoo on me. Amazing trick. So what should have happened is we should have started right in the tattoo parlor being like, hey guys, I'm with Rob, the tattoo guy. We didn't prearrange anything. Let's start this. Instead, because it was such a big production show, it's so much money, they were like, okay, let's have a shot of you guys in the car talking about the tattoo trick. We're like, okay. So like that was forced conversation. It kind of looked weird. Let's get a shot of you guys getting out of the car. We're like, okay. Let's get a shot of you guys walking down the street talking about how cool it's going to be. Like, all right, now let's get a shot of you guys walking in the tattoo studio. We're like, okay. Then they're like, stop, guys. Let's reposition the cameras and get a shot of you guys walking in the tattoo studio with the cameras inside. And we're like, it's going to look fake. It's going to look like we're in here all right. No, don't worry. We're not going to use it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So they were really filming it like a reality series instead of trusting us and being like, hey, let's just put more magic. And instead of, so it is what it is. It was an amazing experience. We only got one season out of it, but it really was just the most amazing time filming. We got some really good stuff, really good clips. Too bad it kind of fell apart towards the end, but I wouldn't change it for anything else.
But you filmed during COVID.
Yeah.
But did COVID hurt you? You think?
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Because of the actors. But did COVID hurt? Like, it canceled Carbonaro. Carbonaro went on hiatus and never came back because of COVID. But what about, like, getting a second season? That had nothing to do with it. It was just ratings?
It was ratings, and because we filmed it during COVID, it took away from the organic aspect and the, like perfect example, like we're filming in a park and we're just like, the guys, okay, can you guys like fuck around and mess around a little bit and do, so I'm like running beside a jogger backwards, right? Can't use that because we don't have their consent. They're gone now. And the people with masks, we couldn't have, for some reason, they didn't want people with masks walking around the back. So like, there's only so much you can do to make it look organic while it's not organic. So the ratings we started off as being the second highest viewed debut on True TV, which is amazing. The first episode is really good. It's our pilot episode, and it was filmed. Was it filmed during COVID? It was, but like it was just the beginning. But then the other 10 episodes were filmed during the height of it, and it just felt like everybody was in on it.
Mm.
So that's what I say.
So one of the things that I've seen clips from it was your blow-offs. Like, they would do a trick at the beginning, at the end of the show, they would reveal how it was done.
Yeah.
Like Penn and Teller. It's their trick that they invented.
Yeah.
So they can reveal it. And that's totally, all the magicians are in on that. You go for that. You're good because you invented it. You do it. They walk through a brick wall. Amazing. That was great.
Nice.
The idea of that.
Yeah, it was definitely the best part of the show. We called it a cold open, and it was like sometimes it was filmed in reverse and you see it at the end, right? Sometimes it was like illusions of like, we had like BMX riders like do flips on top of us, and then we took off our helmets and we were the guys, and so it was really creative. It was 10 cold opens. I suggest, if anybody's watching this, if you guys go on Wes Barker's channel, he really did commentary on all these cold opens, and they were so good. So there was some good aspects in the show, and the guys always like, I'm sorry I went on this rant, but the guys always like, hey, stop bad mouthing the show. And I'm like, hey, I've had 7 television shows. I know it's a good show. This is not it. I'm going to say what I want. We're never going to have a season 2. I just like telling the truth. Like, yeah. But it had potential. I think if we would have had a season 2 and they would have let us, trusted us and do what we wanted, it would have been much better. But it was a huge budget. Like, we had billboards in LA. We were on parking garages painted and like huge billboards everywhere. It was like, it had the potential to really be. Also, what didn't help us is that we were on with Carbonaro was on True TV, right? True TV's 2 big hits were Carbonaro and Impractical Jokers. So Impractical Jokers, they're 4 guys. We were 4 guys. Impractical Jokers just put out in the world that they were kind of like, you know, taking a step back. One of the guys was leaving. They're kind of on their way out. They're superstars selling out arenas. They don't need to do the show anymore. And Carbonaro was a hit. It's such a good show. And so with that mix too, with the True TV's audience loving Impractical Jokers, loving Carbonaro, then you see a mix of an inferior show. Let's face it, both those shows are just amazing concepts. Carbonaro revolutionized Magic on TV, and Impractical Jokers revolutionized reality TV. And then we kind of mashed it up and put it out there. So we got a lot of flack from fans, but I think with the second season we would have found our groove, and it would have been so much better.
Yeah. Just production company putting their 2 cents in, but
oh man,
it's hard, man.
It is
hard.
Wild. Like the execs, the higher ups, and Alex was his first taste of television, and he's like, why are they letting us do this? And I'm like, hey man, it's not just one guy. It's like one person who said, oh, let me ask my boss. And that's another thing. Our director was really, we thought he was going to be really good. He didn't want to ruffle any feathers with the network, like he didn't want us, we were 4 guys and we planned on like drinking on camera. We had like duct tape beers, what we call them. So we just put duct tape on cans and we just drank, and that was the vibe. And they were like, yeah. In pre-production, they're like, that's amazing. Let's do that. It's going to be so good. And then when it came down to it, it's like, no, we can't. What is the network going to say? If the network says, no, I don't have my shot. I'm like, Mark, this is us. It's already been pre-approved. Like, it was just a cluster. It was wild. Just talking about it gets me so worked up because it could have been so good.
I don't want to mess you up. But you've seen TV, and everybody wants to make a name for themselves, and everybody wants to put their little secret spice in there and get rid of the beer, do this, and I like to edit this way and get more B footage, get more B-roll, because we don't need that.
Some of them, it's their job. It's their job to give notes. So if you don't give notes, you're not doing your job. So some of them will like really go through and be like, maybe this, and then somebody will read that email and be like, oh, the network wants. Well, it's not the network. It's this one girl. It's this one, one guy. Like it's like the TV world is really. We talked to some TV magicians afterwards, and they said the number one thing is you want the control, the edit. You want the right to be able to be in the edit room to control the edit, and that really is what makes the big difference. And because it's you going out there. I remember when I started filming Tricked, which is a spin-off of the Carbonaro. It's exactly that mixed with Walk Around Magic and Street Magic. We did 3 seasons of it. And I remember the first day on set, and they're like, oh, you're going to do this, and then do this. And I'm like, that's a shitty trick. No, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to edit great. It's going to edit great. And I remember it took like 5 months to film. And I remember going back in my apartment every night for the first 2 weeks. And like, it was the first time in my life where I wasn't in control what I was putting out there for the world to see. And I was just a face. I was just a puppet to hold their little trick, and I can make it entertaining, but like, I'm like, this isn't fooling anybody. And I'm used to reaction. We're used to David Blaine reactions, like, whoa, people running away and whatever. And I had to kind of like trust them that in the edit, someone going like this, like a Carbonaro, someone going, and the camera's right up close, is just as good as someone freaking out. So that's one example of the times where the higher ups were kind of right, but it's wild how if you want a TV show, you're gonna have to. It's kind of like the perfect example is like a Taylor Swift or like some little goth girl getting popular, like Billie Eilish getting popular, and then the higher ups are like, well, you're gonna have to start wearing skirts, and we have to sing about breakups, and she's like, well, that's not me. I'm like, hey, do you want to make it big? And then most of them do. It's not selling out, but it's like, there's a formula, there's a proven formula out there, and some people think they know it better than others. So what do? You want to do what they say to get your own TV show, or do you want to stick to your guns and they'll just pick somebody else?
Amen. Hey, what else do you say? Yeah. Tag on it. So do you and the boys get together at all, ever? Just magic conventions is the only time you see each other?
Great question. We used to a lot more. We all live pretty, like Alex and I do all the time. He lives maybe 20 minutes away. Wes just moved to Austin to really try and blow up in the comedy magic world. That's where everything's happening now. There's a new revolution happening in Austin. That the comedy, the mothership, and all the comedians go there. They're producing like something's happening. So he's really banking on that. Chrysalis maybe 2 hours away. We don't really get. We have many group chats going. But we don't really get together apart from magic conventions very much anymore. But we're still, I mean, we're always going to be, super tight for sure.
Do you and Alex ever do a show together?
We travel on the road. I help him, he helps me. I help him for his shows, he helps me for my shows. We travel. He does like my sound and lights, and we take the plane together when we need somebody. But we never on stage together. No, we kind of do our own things separately. Yeah, but he's definitely, he's the one I for sure talk to the most, and he's always here. During the pandemic, he lived here. Like I have a loft upstairs. He lived here, but it's nice. It's nice to be. It's nice to be around them and know that no matter what happens, we'll always be super tight. That experience really brought us together for sure.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you got going on now? Besides, I know you get the. Do you have the Hocus Smocus thing going on, or was that something that's already passed?
Yeah, no, I'm doing that right now. I've never done a couple of years ago. I was like, this magician, he saw me lecture at Blackpool, and he hired me to consult for his cannabis-themed magic show called Smocus Pocus. And I was running a marijuana company back then. We started a company here in Ottawa. It's legal here. When it became legal, we started growing and whatever. So I was in that field as a side thing. And I think that's why he asked me. And then I saw his show and I saw the numbers, and he's like, yeah, I've been selling out for 3 years all over the US. And I'm like, what? And he just figured out the right formula with Facebook and Instagram ads, and the draw of the cannabis thing is huge. Like I've done all different shows. I think I've done all the different areas in magic, all the different shows you can do, kids, adults, TV, comedy, serious, illusions, everything. And one thing I never did though is produce my own one-man evening show, because sure, you can do it once and sell tickets and your city and fine, but I wanted something reoccurring, like a residency. And I just thought it was so not awkward, but so kind of what are the chances of this happening? An evening of magic with Eric Leclerc, and I'm just who's going to come to this? It's just a magician. I don't really have I'm not a superstar. I don't have, but now with this cannabis hook, I was like, there's something there. So anyways, he hired me to consult for him, and I convinced him to franchise it to me in Canada. I'm like, let me do it in Canada. And we worked out at first he was like, yeah, I thought about it, but maybe. And then I just kept pestering him. And I'll do a good job. I promise I'll I'll make your name proud. And now it's been 2 years. I've been selling out in all the big Canadian cities here, and he does everything. I just show up and do the show. And it's so amazing to be able to pack up the car, drive. I live in Ottawa, which is the capital. Then Montreal's 2 hours away. Toronto's 4 hours away. 3 big cities in Canada. So I'm lucky to be able to drive to the big places, right? But yeah, I've been selling out the show for 2.5 years now, and I'm so thankful. It's so good, and it's really I'm kind of guilty to having had the same corporate set for 20 years with little tricks I add, and I don't know if you guys always kind of update your show, but I never did. Now I created this show from scratch, and it's so good. I'm so proud of it. And it's like I said, we've been doing so well. I've been selling out. I just came back with my goal this year was to take the plane with the show, which I've never done, which was really interesting because there's marijuana stuff everywhere. I have a big jar of fake weed, and just so I had to write to the TSA guys, hey guys, it's movie props. But I'm really lucky to have Ben Zabin's his name, a mentor and a friend. He really was able to. So I'm doing that now. Just released a product for another product for magicians called Blind Fly. Sold really, really well. It got me. It kind of got me hooked in this little marketing for magicians, magic trick business. So I'm kind of concentrating on that. I got a few more things coming out. I kind of went, I did like a family entertainers convention in the UK called Tricks in the Sticks. That was really good. That kind of got me a good taste of like family entertainers, which is what I am. But it was so nice to be around. Like, I've attended magic conventions my entire life, but being never like family entertainers, always like, you know, the big ones, right? But being around family entertainers with like-minded people was really eye-opening. And I'm like, there's a market here for people want tricks for kid shows and family audiences, not just the coolest, you know, sunglass trick or whatever, the hottest thing. We have good tricks coming out. Look out, because I for sure you guys are you're gonna use some of the stuff I'm gonna put out in your shows. It's so commercial. I can't wait to show you guys. I can hear you now.
Hey,
Can you hear me? Can you
Oh,
hear
okay,
me?
sorry, I don't know what happened.
Hey.
We got our internet today. I don't know what's going on. Talking to you all the way from Canada. Technology still isn't there yet.
Yeah.
So, new magic trick ceremony from the Magic Manufacturing Company, and they read the name of the nominees. It was Eric that gave me my award, and he had confetti he launched, and he did it up good. Right. I was proud. Thank you.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. What was the trick? Oh, it was the coin.
Yeah. Yep.
Download
of the year.
You know what? Look what I have right beside my computer.
Hey, don't show that. What is that? No, don't do that one. Don't do that one.
I haven't been in this room in years. Like, my computer just crashed right before, so I'm on my desktop, and it's literally the only magic trick I have. What was that good for you? What was the story behind that? I'm sure you've told it many times before. If you don't want to.
Oh no, the story behind it was I've been doing it since 2000. What did we figure out? 2006.
Something like that, yeah.
And you used it to pick a member of the audience?
No, I was using it in kids shows. I had 5 kids stand up because kids lie. No, I picked heads. I can't play that game, and I don't want to stop the show. So the audience would pick heads and tails, and I would know. But also the audience, I had 300 people looking at these 5 kids, and they'd say, "No, Tommy, sit down." And then the birthday kid would win, or whoever we wanted, whatever, right? And then when I was doing my resort show, I just wanted to change it up, and I started doing the whole audience because they were mostly adults, and I would tell the kids, "Sit down. This one's for the adults," because kids cheat. And then I can give you another hint that I told everybody in the Facebook group if you bought the trick. Penn and Teller do it where they say, if you want heads, if you're in the balcony, choose heads. If you're down here, choose tails. This will eliminate half the audience right away. And that's how he gets rid of the balcony, because it's hard to see the balcony. And then we're playing the game. And then they can choose whatever they want.
Amazing.
So that's what I do now in shows, take the kids. And yeah. They performed. His name is Wes Iseli. He let us use this trick. So, guys, we'll try to do it justice. Here we go. What? You don't have to do that. They bought the rights. They don't have to do that.
Oh,
they're amazing.
They bought the rights.
So, yeah, but I'll tell you off there. Everybody can buy it. You can still buy it. You can still buy it. But they bought the rights, but you can still buy it. So, Hocus Smocus, is that on your website?
No, see, that's another thing, is that I'm still doing. Yeah, no. So my whole life, I was able to separate. I'm pretty, you know, like you see in the Leclerc show, like there's some stuff there that's not for kids. But my whole life, I've been able to kind of, luckily, separate the kids and the adults without really having a crazy costume or whatever. And now with this Smocus Pocus, it's straight up a drug show, and I'm still performing in schools, and I'm going on tours in these high schools. So I try to like keep it, you know, separate. And there's no reason really to put it on my website. We have this other website just for that. Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for the time that, you know, I think nowadays people just as like woke as everybody is, I think it's very easy to be like, no, there's kid shows. Obviously, it doesn't talk about weed in the kid shows, and But in my Smocus Pocus, I do talk about. I'm like, can you believe I do kid shows? Right? The other way around is funny, right?
Right, yeah.
But super lucky, super lucky. So I do kid shows and the adult shows, Smocus Pocus, school tours for elementary schools and high schools. So I'm really doing it all, and I'm just waiting for it to blow up in my face.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. You got so much fun. Your two-time Canadian championship. What year was that? That was before your whole 365, correct? Were you competing back then?
That was, yeah. I wish I had my laptop. I could bring you in my magic room. It's right there and show you everything. I think it was. Let me get. Hold on a sec. Wait. I'll be right back.
We need music. Do 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 do. Wait, that might be copywritten. Is that copyright? That was me going.
Let me do a humble brag. I think so. My
trophy.
It is 2003 and 2007. So still like 20 years. And it was for the Canadian Association of Magicians. And this is a prime example in marketing, you know? Like when you say that we're magicians, so we know what magic convention competition is, right? But for 20 years now, I've been able to accurately say I'm two-time Canadian, champion close-up and stage in Canada, because we only have one association in Canada. And it's as impressive as it sounds, really is like there was 7 guys, you know what I mean? Like 4 were horrible, 3 were okay, 2 were good, you know what I mean? Like it's like, so like, awards, like there's a big scandal now in the magic world with these Merlin awards, like the what with the Tony Hassini thing that you can just buy and whatever. And like, I get it. Like, I get it. If you want a shiny trophy like these guys on your shelf, you can say you're award winning, but you better be able to back it up. It doesn't mean because you have an award on your shelf and not in your email and your handle of your email that you're going to be able to back it up. And it's just, as much as magicians say, oh, there's this one magician who has like a whole bunch of these Merlin awards, and he's like, oh, like 5-time. And then imagine somebody hiring him, and then they see like the caliber and the quality of like his show is just awkward and just, and they'll be like, he's an award-winning magician. Sure, a lot of magicians say it's going to be detrimental, but like only for a few people. It's not that. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. And like, do you, if you got to buy an award, do it. But the marketing, you're a really good marketer as well.
I try. The problem with the Merlin Award, it sounds good. It's the Oscars of magic given out by magicians to magicians. Sounds great. It sounds great. And I think it started legitimate, and then I think he went for a money grab, which also the people that got him legitimately, like Siegfried and Roy, David Copperfield, now it makes Tom Jones that does kids' birthday parties and does 6 shows a year, has one.
Yeah.
It just poo-poos the whole situation. Everything's just dumb now.
Yeah. Only in our world though, right? Like we magicians know what's going on. So like if you want that trophy on your shelf for your friends to look cool and you could write it on your promo stuff, like good on you. But I think at the end of the day, like real talent, showmanship, and real chops are always gonna prevail over some silly awards. Every magician is award winning.
I have a friend of mine that is a 3-time award winner, and it was just a local magic club competition. And the dude works cruise ships, and he puts it on all of his bills. But it was a local magic club. But I love him, and he's great. He's awesome.
That's a good lesson. It's a good lesson in marketing, like that. I mean, it's true. He's not lying. And like the other end is like when we say like there's 2 things, right? That my 2 newest credits that I love is the Guinness record holder, and we appearing on Ellen, and both had to do with Big Trick Energy. We had nothing with the Guinness record. It was the marketing team. Like I said, there's millions of dollars in marketing budget for Big Trick Energy. And they're like, let's get these guys a world Guinness record. And like, they arranged everything. We didn't do anything. And so when you write, like right now in my intro for stage is like, our next guest is a Guinness record holder, blah, 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 blah. And when people ask me, obviously the question, if it strikes someone's ear and like, oh, you're a Guinness record holder, what's your record? And I'm always like, oh, well, it's the longest chain of magicians performing a card trick online. Like, what is that? It doesn't matter. It's like stupid. All we did was record a video of us doing a card chain, then going like this, and then the person going, oh, and then them doing it. And, you know, that's it. Like, we didn't do anything. But I have a plaque now in my room, and I have like a wicked credit. And a Guinness record holder, like, that was on my bucket list since I was a little kid. And the Ellen appearance, same thing. Like the Ellen appearance, that it was virtual, right? Which it would have been live, but it was COVID, so it was like virtual. So like when you say you've been on Ellen, like holy man, that's an accomplishment. Like, you know, it was still, that one's a little bit more credible because like we had to come up with a trick in a week, and like it was stressful, and we had to make sure that our camera setup was perfect, and you know the trick was pretty intricate. But like I didn't meet her. We didn't, people are like, oh, how was she? I'm like, I don't know. Like, we just, boom. And then she was there. We did her thing. But we were still on Ellen, right? So there's a lesson there in marketing, and then kind of like extracting the high points of what you think is going to be appealing to people. The Penn and Teller Fuller thing was way bigger than I thought. Like when we go to Chicago Magic Lounge and they say that our next performer is a Penn and Teller Fuller, people are like, wow. And in my head, I'm like, what layman watches this show?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah, I guess you guys know. Like, I had no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I got recognized from Fool Us. It was weird because people watch. It's crazy.
Oh, you're a Fuller? You cut out there.
Yeah.
Nice. With the coin thing. Wild. That's great. I love that.
Fool Penn and Teller had no idea. And he said he worked on something like that for 15 years, trying to do he's trying to do hot potato. He was trying to do a whole bunch of stuff with the whole audience, and he loved the whole audience aspect. Yeah. But dude, give me the websites for the Smokus Pocus or Hocus Smokus, and then your regular website where people can find you.
For Smokus Pocus, yeah, I mean you guys should go see the original in the States. It's smokuspocus.com. For me, I think it's smokuspocus.ca. But like, yeah, if you guys, and it doesn't need to be, if you guys are cannabis users or not, it's as good for the red-eyed people as it is for the sober people. It's just a hook. It's just a theme for the show. My website's ericleclerc.com. We're currently redoing it. But kind of aiming for more, more corporate, more kind of silly, goofy. Yeah, it's so crazy how websites, they used to be like how everything gets sold now, and now it's like it still is, but it's kind of like it's a side one, you know. It's not one of the main ones anymore.
Yeah, it's like a business card.
Yeah.
It's there, but some people ask for it, some people don't. Yeah. Dude, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Sorry for all the technical snafus.
It flew right by. Thanks, guys.
Dude, it was awesome. Only thing we have left to say is see you next week.
Peace.
Check us out online at wesisley.com and patreon.com/Wes_Isley for behind-the-scenes videos, blooper videos, never-before-seen footage, discounts on merchandise, magic trick tutorials, and more. That's Wes Iseli, spelled WESISELI.